Hey guys, you're watching the Shift Training channel.
Where we talk about personal growth, we talk about physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, and just overall well-being.
And today we'll be talking about patience, persistence, and diligence. For the record, before we jump in, we have our laptops on deck. We will be taking the questions right from here and reporting straight to you.
All right, let's jump into it.
So the first one is patience overrated?
That's supposed to be my question, La. Well, I think for me, I think patience is overrated when it comes to when people start relying on not becoming, but
just waiting around.
Yeah, just waiting around. And as we know that if you want to have an extraordinary result or an outcome, then you're going to have an action, not passive. People would start making excuses, like, oh, you got to be patient. They use it as an excuse. You know what I mean? Like, instead of like taking action, then as you take more action, that's where you need to be patient, because having an extraordinary results, it will require some effort, some time, some hard work.
Yeah, and I think patience, like you were saying, it's like spot on. Patience, there's passive and there's active. And I don't think patience is a passive word. I think patience is an active word. We actively should practice patience with ourselves as we move through the process, stepping towards what it is that we want. Not sitting in the cut and just waiting and, oh, when the time is right and the stars align and it happens just for me. Not to say that there isn't divine timing. There is divine timing, but nothing happens. You can miss the divine timing if you're not where you're supposed to be on time. So you still need to actively make a move.
Sweet.
Yeah. So next question.
All right. Next question is, why do I have to practice patience when I don't have to?
Oh, okay.
Or when I don't want to.
Or when you don't want to. Yeah. This one's one of my favorite questions. I relate to this so much so because growing up, I was taught, be patient. You need to be patient. You're not patient enough because I always want stuff now, fast, go. And, personally I have this thing where I go, patience is overrated. I don't like it. Patience is trash. Like, I don't want to practice that skill. Why would I want to practice that? Why would I want to get better at patience? And so I really resonate with this one. Why? Again, I think the greater value in patience is learning to be patient with yourself and patient with others. Other than that, I don't think you need to be patient in terms of taking action for what you want. But I think there's a level of stress or tension you're going to cause. You're going to give yourself a little bit of, not anxiety, but you're going to irritate yourself. Just going, why hasn't it happened yet? Why now? You can actively work towards it without expecting instant manifestation, Right. And then other than that, patience with ourselves and others.
For sure, yeah. Patience is, it requires hard work, dedication, as we said earlier. And while you're talking about that, it reminds me of a quote from Tom Billier where he says, success is not even guaranteed, but the struggle is going to be there. So along your journey, there's going to be a lot of struggle. You got to be patient and you can't rush it. And I think another analogy is think about like a seed. When you planted a seed, you're going to have to take care of that, nourish it, water it. And if you, if you pick like when it grows a little bit, right. It's not going to grow at its potential.
Right.
You got to be patient. It will take some years, or maybe decades for it to grow as much as it can. So you need to be patient and just keep doing the work.
Right. So I guess if I were to sum that up, be patient for your own peace. be patient for your own level of connection with yourself and your connections with others. And be patient to get the max potential out of things. Like you were saying, I love the seed analogy. I love that, being a fan of, growing things and plants and whatnot.
You gotta wait for those vegetables, those fruits to come out.
Nasty. It's gonna be bitter. It's gonna be bitter. It's gonna be terrible.
Exactly.
So, yep, absolutely. All right, cool. So, next question.
All right.
Our next question is, what is the difference between patience and persistence?
What is the difference between patience and persistence? I think patience for me is waiting for something in the future, while persistent is, on the other hand, is like making something to happen.
Right.
I guess an analogy or an example I could give is maybe a fisherman or an angler.
Okay.
So let's say a fisherman or a new angler, they have patience when they're doing those fishing, and it's okay for them if they didn't get any fish because that's not the goal. And people that are persistent fishermen, they would want to get a fish. They have that mindset of, or I need to get at least one fish.
They
otherwise,
keep going.
yeah, they need to keep going. They want something to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Great analogy. Patience for me is, you're going to actively be proactive while, waiting on whatever manifestation you're looking for. Persistence is not getting discouraged while not seeing the fruit.
Exactly.
So you'll keep going, you'll keep moving. That's persistence. One of my favorite lines about persistence actually comes from The Matrix, the original trilogy. And Agent Smith says, "Why, Mr. Anderson? Why do you persist?" Like
that's a good one.
He gets frustrated. He gets mad about the fact that Neo just won't stop. And to me, I think about that quote whenever I think about persistence.
That's good. Yeah, same thing with our goal. You got to keep that in mind. You got to persist if you want that result, that outcome.
Yeah, 100%. So what's our next question?
Our next question is, how can I be patient with my goal?
Oh, dang. How can I be patient with my goal? See, I'm the wrong one to ask for that because I don't even believe in that. I want what I want now. But I guess at the same time, for example, like even with Shift, we're in the beginning phases of Shift and it's been a while, and I'm patient because the goal, the things that I want to move towards are large. And the way that I guess I help myself to be patient with that is by breaking it out. So for example, if I go, okay, there's a 10-year minimum for this goal or whatever it is, and I think it's massive, I just go, all right, what are we doing this year? And then break that down, like, what are we doing this month? And what are some of the targets we want to hit for this year? Like, I just break it down into a few small pieces. And as we, approach those milestones, as we hit different spots, it gives me energy. Like, I see enough positive feedback and manifestation to make me want to continue to go. I see progress, and progress in itself makes me willing to be more patient with the big goal.
Right.
Just because I see just a little bit going. So if you have a big fitness goal, break it down, look at it. And I know you know all about fitness, so I'm gonna shut up about that. But if that's if you have a big goal, break it down into smaller pieces and then measure your progress on those little pieces. Like, see it, give yourself that energy, and it'll keep you going.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think another thing that I could add to that is self-compassion. As we talked about earlier, throughout that journey, there's going to be a lot of struggle. And, when you start hitting that rock bottom, you start to talk down to yourself. Oh, is this really for me? Those are the things that we need to keep in mind. I think self-awareness is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're beating yourself up, it's harder to be patient. Nobody wants to endure an ass whooping.
Exactly.
No one wants to endure that for a long period of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another thing about that is like we don't want to rush things. Like let's say you just started jiu-jitsu or karate or any martial arts, and you want to get that black belt maybe the next month. I don't know.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you can't be rushing all those things. Otherwise, you're gonna have like crappy form, or like they wouldn't even see that you're a black belt. So,
right.
So enjoy the process, like you said.
Yeah, enjoy the process and also remain focused on the vision for sure. Sometimes being focused on why you're doing what you're doing, not 24/7, not like I am locked in on this, but occasionally remember why am I doing this? What's really going on? I think that can help you remain patient.
Oh, I like that.
All right, cool. So next question. Okay, this one's a good one.
Huh?
How can I tell when I should be persistent or when I should quit?
Okay, how can I tell when I should be persistent or when should I quit? All right, I think when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm not finding any joy from the activity that I'm doing, I think that it's time to quit. On the other hand, if I want to persist, there should be this challenge for me that I'm feeling, but I'm not overwhelmed or I'm not feeling too much stress. Well, I would feel stressed, but I would still persist because I genuinely enjoy it.
Right. Like you're talking about, like, you're looking at a nice little diagram type deal, basically the balance point between, like, challenge and what's it called? I forgot. Excuse me for that. But basically, you're talking about where's the optimal spot to be challenged, to have pressure, but not to be overwhelmed or underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And that's where flow is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I definitely think that that's a good way to keep track of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be overwhelmed, and you don't want to be underwhelmed. You don't want it to be too easy and so difficult that you can't perform it. There needs to be a healthy level of, like, challenge and pressure there.
And at the same time, if you're gonna make a goal or a vision for yourself, I think you must stick with it. Commit at least maybe 30 days. Because if you just try it first day and you ain't like it, then you don't really know that you really want that goal.
Right. Yeah. I think for me, how do I know to persist or quit? It's a simple evaluation for me. It's, if I continue on this, will this expand my being? So if I continue on this path, will I expand or grow in a way that's beneficial to me, to others, or help me make progress towards the life I want to live or any of my goals? Is there value to be had there? And if so, then usually I'm willing to persist. If I reach a point where the return from my investment of my time, my energy, and effort, if persistence, that investment itself, is no longer really going to pay a return that I feel is enough, at that point, then I go, I need to shift my focus and energy somewhere else. I got to let that one go. And that's usually how I evaluate when I'm going to persist or when I'm going to quit.
I like that answer. I agree 100%. So let's move on to our next question, Law.
Copy.
All right, the next question is, what is the role of diligence in pursuing a goal?
Diligence. I like this word. I'm going to say it again, diligence. The reason why I say, diligence. The reason why I say diligence is this word is important because I feel like there's not enough being diligent with things. So, for example, if we say that, patience, we're going to actively do something while waiting for something to manifest, sort of, something like that. And then we say persistence is we're going to continue to persist. Like, I will not be stopped. Why, Mr. Anderson? Keep going. Diligence is being thorough in the details or the small things. I believe that it's essential to be diligent in order to really get the best out of anything. So, for example, we'll go back to the plant. If you're a gardener and you're taking care of your plants, something to know is that sometimes there are little mites or fungi or other things that might plague whatever it is you've got going on. And you're going to need to do some trimming or treat it some type of way. But if you're not diligent enough to look, investigate, build that awareness, right? If you're not really looking at it, you'll miss it. You're not being diligent. You're not being thorough. You're not checking, hey, let me inspect it. This is, all right, we're looking good here. Not that you have to spend forever in a day doing it, but you definitely need to give it a good look over, touch your plant, whatever it is you need to make contact, however you need to take care of it. But if you don't do that, you just kind of glance, say, hey, I see some new growth on top. That's cool. And keep going. You fail to realize that new growth on top is probably the last growth you're going to see because down at the bottom, there's rot. You weren't diligent enough. Okay? So I think that's the value of diligence. Diligence can make a huge difference in, landing a gig or booking a deal or whatever it is you're trying to do. Taking care of yourself in any way, shape, or form. You can think, well, if I just focus on this element of my health and well-being, everything will be great. But you fail to really look at what's going on underneath those leaves, what's happening at the core. That's where I think diligence comes in. You got to be diligent. You got to look at the details.
That's right. Sounds like diligence is making you committed and giving you that purpose to get through the process of it.
Right. I think it's absolutely essential. And the recipe of I'm actively patient and moving towards something, and I am persistent. And while I am persisting, I'm looking at the details. That to me just makes this upward trajectory of like, we can learn, like we can grow, like this is what's happening. You're going to keep thriving. You know, I got hit. What happened here? Okay, now I know next time. Oh, that same thing that knocked me down last time is coming. Now I know I'm going to move a little differently.
It sounds also like a trait that you have, you know, like you need to have some sort of faith throughout that process and just deeply having understanding that you'll get there as long as you have that clarity.
Right. And you need the diligence for the clarity.
That's right.
You got to actively look for it. It's not going to happen passively. So, Vaughn, is there anything else for us to cover?
I think that's it. I think we cover everything else.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. That's it. Today, like we said, patience, persistence, diligence. Yeah. So that's everything that we covered today. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Vaughn?
That's it for us. So if you enjoy this content, please subscribe, comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.